am just so thrilled to be able to introduce Cindy to all of you, because this is someone who has actually made a big difference in my coaching practice, in my business. And I have had the privilege to be coached as part of a group that Cindy was coaching, and to have individual coaching sessions with her. And I just have to say that you just can't go wrong. Cindy does or advocates something that I believe in, and that's having the right strategies and the right systems. And she talks about, and I love this, how to go from being a best kept secret to a trusted expert. And I talk about that because people sometimes they act like the best kept secret. And I know when I was in higher ed, I worked for a university where they said, our students are a best kept secret. And I'm thinking, why would you tell anybody that? You want everybody to know who your students are. So Cindy is here to tell you, or to help you develop the kinds of strategies and systems that will create more visibility for you, and at the same time build credibility. So Cindy is going to talk to us, and I love this, about the 3 mistakes that are costing us time, money, and energy. And I know I have sunk too much into each of those, Cindy. You know that about me. If I can spend too much time or too much money or whatever, I'll probably dive into it and then come up later and go, oh, what did I just do? So I am so pleased to be able to introduce you to everyone. And folks, with that introduction, I'm going to say, Cindy, just dazzle us. You're on.
Well, thank you very much, Duman. Definitely my pleasure. And you were talking just a minute ago about strategies. And my saying, and it's very important to remember, is every strategy will work for the right person at the right time with the right mindset. Because as I go in, you'll see sometimes when we try to be like somebody else, or we're trying to follow somebody else's strategies exactly, we are not them. So they may not work for us. We don't have the same mindset as them. We don't have the same beliefs, values, etc. as them. So actually, I have 6 top mistakes. So you get 3 bonus mistakes.
3 bonus mistakes.
3 bonus mistakes that are costing you time, energy, and money. But talking about money, and it's not part of the mistakes, but I want to share with you one of my clients, Karen. Karen, when I first met her, she had been a coach for 6 months. She was totally devastated. She was saying, I don't think I'm cut out for this. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I'm doing everything that my coach has told me to do. I've spent $8,000 on Facebook ads.
Oh my gosh.
I only have 500 people on my list from those ads and 0 clients. And the first thing I had her do was stop placing the Facebook ads. And we worked together to find strategies that aligned with her strengths, her beliefs, and her values. Within 3 months, she had earned more than $15,000. She had added over 2,000 people to her list, all without spending a penny on ads.
Oh, that's terrific.
So,
and you know me. First of all, I don't want anything to do with Facebook. But
right.
Second, I'm very clear about that. But secondly, I think those ads are confusing.
Yes. I know 7-figure businesses that have literally spent 50, 60, 70, 80K on ads with 0 return. So there's definitely an art to it that I have never developed. And I don't like ads, and you'll understand why whenever I share one of the mistakes in a little bit.
Okay.
So we are going to be talking about one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make that can tank their business overnight. The myths about SEO and how it can drain your time, money, and energy.
Wow.
What your superpower is that allows your ideal clients to know, like, and trust you. and how to leverage your online visibility without spending tons of money, and how to easily create multiple streams of visibility in less time with less stress.
Wow. I'm all ears, Cindy.
And I know with a lot of people, social media can seem completely overwhelming. You have questions. Where do I start? What platform should I start on? What strategies do I use? How do I get engagement? I caught a part of the gentleman that spoke just before me. You know, engagement is so key. And saying that you have people, we've all heard people, you have to be on Pinterest to succeed. You have to be on Facebook to succeed. You have to be on LinkedIn to succeed. You have to be on Pinterest or Instagram to succeed. And now they have all these new ones, TikTok and Threads and thousands of others. But who is these people to say you have to be? I know multiple seven-figure earners that only use LinkedIn. I know multiple seven-figure earners that only use Facebook, that only use Pinterest, that only use Instagram, and even in today's crazy world, that only use Twitter.
Wow.
I also know multiple seven-figure earners that don't use social media at all. So this is why I like helping. My tagline, one thing is that I help my clients create strategies that align with their personal beliefs, values, and strengths. Because if it doesn't fit who you are, you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to be having fun. And I didn't go into business to be miserable, and I'm sure none of you did either.
Yes, very true. But some of us went into business because we were miserable in other people's businesses.
Oh, definitely. When I started my coaching career back in 2009, I was still working full-time in social services. And everybody kept telling me, you have to speak, you have to speak, you have to speak, you have to go out there and find speaking gigs to get clients. I lived in a teeny weeny town that was literally 90 miles from any place else. So I was working 50 to 60 hours a week in social services. It would have taken me a minimum of 4-hour round trip drive to go anywhere to speak. So in my mind, that wasn't plausible. I did not have that enough energy and stamina to do that while working at my job. But I had lots of previous experience online that I utilized to get visible. And I was able to leave social services within 2 years. And whenever I started going to events, a lot of my colleagues would come up to me, Cindy J, how did you get on prevention? How did you get on eHarmony? How did you get on Huffington Post and Huffington Post Live? Can you show me how to do what you're doing? So over the years, I started out as a divorce coach. So over the years, I morphed into being the visibility whiz because I had so many colleagues asking me to show them how I was getting the visibility I was getting. But I had to do that, or I had to do all that driving to find speaking gigs. So that is a little bit about my background. But now to the audience, I would love, and I don't know if I can see them, so maybe you can read them to me. I would love you to post in chat. Why do you want to be visible? So I'd love to know what some of your answers are. Why do you want to be visible?
Yeah, that's a good question. But we're not.
Okay. I can tell you, your first thought might be to build my business. And while visibility does this, there's other things to consider. You want to be visible for your ideal clients to find you first and foremost. But most of the people I work with, they really want to help other people. A strong desire to transform lives, to show people how they can live differently, be differently, have their business, be healthier, love themselves, get in healthy relationships, get out of toxic relationships, whatever it is. Now, I can tell you my very favorite testimonial that I've ever had came from this girl, and she posted it on Facebook. She said, "Thank you so much for everything that you do, Cindy. I never could have survived my divorce without you.
Mm.
Definitely never could have ever created a happy next chapter in my life without you. And I just wanted you to know I really appreciate you."
Wow.
Now, the thing is, I never once spoke to this person. Never once.
Wow.
I changed this girl's life through my blog posts, through my lives, through my website, through everything that I was doing, through social media, but I had never spoke to this person in person.
Wow.
And this is the power of visibility. You want to be visible, and you have to believe and just know that the people that are meant to work with you, they're out there and they're going to be drawn to you. Where I used to live, I used to like to go sit on my front porch and meditate every morning. And we had there's lots of trees in that neighborhood. And one morning as I was sitting there meditating, I just really tuned into all of the birds. And if you've ever sat there and really tuned into the birds, you can hear that they ignore all the other type of birds.
That's true.
If a raven would scream, a Tweety bird wouldn't respond to it. It would be other ravens. Whenever the Tweety birds were talking, other Tweety birds were responding. When doves were talking, other doves were talking. And sometimes they were all talking at the same time. And it was this very interesting experience. But I thought, that's how it is online. And that's how it is as we as experts whenever we're sharing our message. You have all these different voices, but our people, the ones that we were born to serve, and I completely believe we was born to serve them, are going to respond to us because they are part of our flock.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense, Cindy. I've never thought of it that way. Mm-hmm. And with the birds, yeah, I do that all the time. I sit on my reading porch and they're there. I never thought about, the bird that hears it gets that message because that's the person or that's the bird that was supposed to get the message. Got it. That's great.
Yes, exactly. And also for visibility, it's to build credibility. Mm-hmm. And to build relationships. Everything we do is built on relationships. And the more visible you are and the more you don't do some of the mistakes that I'm going to be sharing in a few, the more credible and the more successful you'll be. Remember that 50 to 70 years ago, and even I'd probably say in the 90s, so 30 years ago, marketing was a one-way conversation. You had everything pointing to us, all the billboards, all the commercials, all the things in print. Everything was one way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did send out surveys and stuff, but it was one-way marketing. Yeah. And it is not one-way marketing anymore. It's a two-way conversation. People want to know who they're doing business with, and you want your voice to be heard, right? We all want our voices to be heard. So remember that visibility gives you the ability to create the know, like, and trust factor and to build relationships. People can know you and they can like you, but they may not trust you to solve their problems. But whenever you start building these real relationships with you, then they start trusting you. Mm-hmm. So, what does visibility mean to you? So as I said earlier, some of the responses that I've received is being number one on Google, being known as an expert, having 1,000 followers or 1,000 people on their email list. And also, and I've heard this quite a bit, very sadly, is that you have to be everywhere. And whenever you're everywhere, you are nowhere. And it's really important to remember that whenever you're everywhere, you are nowhere, because there just is not enough time in the day for you to nurture every single platform the way that it needs to be nurtured to be successful at it. Now, you have a lot of people, myself included, that I'm on all the basic big social media platforms. However, I have a team that helps me. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of them that I nurture more than I nurture others. There, I have my main focal ones, and the other ones, again, my team does a lot of it. And if you're not to that point yet, then just start out with one platform, one strategy, get really good at it, and then go on to a second one. And if LinkedIn is your strategy, then you know where to go.
Yep. Me. Come to me.
Go to the fund. And so visibility, actually, in my mind, is being found by your ideal clients when they search for you. That's what visibility is. Mm-hmm. Being found by your ideal clients when they're searching for you. It's the sum of your online presence, and it's everything that you've posted online, both personal and professional, because there's no hiding online. So if you don't want the world to know something, don't post it, because there's nothing sacred online. There's nothing private online, and people can find you. I have a very good friend who is a nurse, and she worked in a I'm trying to think of what it's called. I mean, just an old person facility, because I can't think of what it's called.
Independent living or assisted living.
Assisted living. She worked for an assisted living.
That's just because I have parents who, have been through it.
Yes, I know. But anyway, she was the head nurse, and something had happened, and she posted something online. Nobody would have, I forget exactly what it was, but it was sort of something personal that she posted online, and she got fired.
Oh my.
And she had been working there for like 15 years. Wow. But they did not like what she put, and it was something personal. So, and it wasn't anything bad. It wasn't like she wasn't being derogatory or anything. Yeah. So people are watching you. When somebody starts to think that they want to do business with you, they are going to do a Google search on you. Mm-hmm. So that being said, what are they going to find?
Yeah.
How often have you, Dumont, when's the last time you've Google searched yourself?
Well, I do it fairly often, but that's only because I've talked to you, Cindy. That's why I know to do it. But yeah, it can be a really shocking experience, and I always tell people, be sure and put your name in quotation marks so you get everything. But yeah, when I do it, there are businesses that come up, towns, all these different things, and there's nothing pure about it. It's not like people are only going to come to me. They're going to get it all.
Exactly. And that is one thing why I really encourage all of my clients to be known as something. Okay. Now, Dumont is a different name. There's not too many Dumonts out there.
Right.
However, there's lots of businesses and lots of other things to do with Dumont that you're getting on a search. Mm-hmm. When I was a divorce coach and I Googled Cindy Holbrook, there is a Harlequin romance writer. Oh. To this day, I get emails. Are you the romance writer? No, I'm not. And so anyways, whenever I would Google Cindy Holbrook, she is all that would come up. And I worked super hard on Google, and I managed to get 6 of the top 10 spots.
Wow.
As Cindy, the compassionate divorce coach. Okay. Now, when I morphed into being the visibility whiz, I didn't want to fight myself and her to get on the top of Google again. So I added my middle initial, Cindy J, the visibility whiz. Mm-hmm. So this way, it does set you apart. Now, even there's lots of Cindy Holbrooks out there, and it's not the most common name that you'll ever find. Can you imagine? And I do know coaches like a Susie Smith coach. Right? Yeah. Hey, you Google Susie Smith, man, you're never going to find her. Right. It's going to be interesting if you did find her. So you would have to know something about her. And this is why I always have my clients try to think of something of what they want to be known for. This is really the first step to your visibility. You have to know what it is you want to be known for. I want to be known for visibility, thus I'm the visibility whiz. Dumont's the LinkedIn
something or other.
the LinkedIn queen, we'll call her.
Something like, I don't actually I haven't given myself a title yet, but I'm going to work on that, Cindy.
But definitely it's LinkedIn, because you're all about LinkedIn.
Right.
And so this way, whenever somebody Googles you, number one, if they know what you stand for, they're more than likely going to add that in there. And second of all, a lot of times it stands out. I have had people tell me, I met you at a conference. I couldn't remember your name, but I remembered that you were the visibility whiz.
And so they look that up.
They Googled visibility whiz, and guess who they find?
Wow, that is so great.
So it's very, very important. And, with names, it's crazy, a crazy story. Even whenever you're trying to decide what it is you want to be known for, you want to Google it before you start preaching about it. My virtual assistant, she was also my client. She decided she was going to be the virtual mom. This was back in 2014. So we Googled the virtual mom, and everything that came up was porn. It doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
If you Google the virtual mom now, it's not all porn. But back then, it was all porn.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, well, I don't want to be known as the virtual mom anymore. And this is something that you wouldn't think, it was going to be like that. Because she was all excited. She comes to our call with this new name that she was going to be. And I Googled that. And she's like, oh, my God.
Wow.
So, Google what you want to be known for, especially if you're trying to be a little bit cute and a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Google is your friend. So you always want to Google your name. You want to Google your business. Also, whenever people search you, is there a discrepancy? Are they finding, because they're going to find your social media links on Google. They're going to find whatever you have, whenever whenever you position yourself right and somebody Googles you, they should find your social media links in your website.
Sure.
But you want to make sure there's no discrepancy between what you are sharing. Now, sometimes like the LinkedIn person, you're not going to find too much of a discrepancy. But sometimes you have health coaches or relationship coaches where there can really be huge discrepancies because different people think different things about the same word. So you really want to stay on top of Google. Make sure there's no discrepancies whenever you search who you are. And then what's your promise? So visibility is whenever you show up, whenever people searching for the solution that you offer. Mm-hmm. So I will show up, not every place, every time, but I do show up whenever people search for different visibility links. And the second key to being visible is being consistent. So what do you think of whenever I say be consistent, Dumont?
Don't do something for a while and then stop, or you have to do it enough times and with enough regularity that people are going to come to expect it and enjoy it.
And this is part of it, and that's usually the answer that I get from people. Okay. Is you want to be consistent with your social media posts, with showing up live. If you say you're going to be live every Friday, you want to be live every Friday, or posting once a day, doing a blog post once a week or once a month or what have you. All those are true, but that's not necessarily. It's not the whole story.
Oh,
I have seen people. So we'll just take Dumont, for example, especially because she's on Facebook. Okay. So if I go to Dumont's website and she says, I'm Dumont, and the LinkedIn lady, and her website colors are blue and white. And then I go over to Facebook and it says, I'm Dumont, the LinkedIn queen, and her banner is green and yellow. And then you go over to LinkedIn and she doesn't say that she's the LinkedIn lady or anything. She just says Dumont Owen with a picture of her behind a computer. Okay, this is inconsistent.
Yeah.
So your branding, the colors that you use, my logo is my name with a hummingbird.
I love that logo too.
Thank you. And I've had people tell me, I see your hummingbird and it just gives me a happy feeling inside. Now, that's a great comment for people to say. When I was going through a certification program, I had to learn some tech stuff. And the gentleman told me, he goes, you can't use all those colors. You have to use black. We've done studies on it. And we know that whenever you just use black backgrounds, you're going to get more opt-ins. And I'm like, if I use black backgrounds, my people would run for the hills that go, right. What happened to Cindy?
Yeah.
Right? Because they know, I have my blues, I have a little bit of green, but they know my colors and they're all represented in my logo. And so regardless where you go on any of the social media platforms, there's a lot of consistency. Typically, I have the same exact banner everywhere, but right now that's not the case because I've been rebranding and redoing things, and it takes time to get everything across.
Sure.
Plus, I'm in September, I should be getting new headshots, but last year I had COVID really bad, and I went 95%. I lost 95% of my hair. Now, Dumont seen me whenever I didn't have any hair. Now, my hair today is nothing like it was pre-COVID. So just before I got COVID, I had some headshots taken, but it doesn't look like me anymore. And people tell me, hey, it doesn't even look like you because my hair came back so curly. And it's very,
that's right. Your hair used to be straighter.
Yeah, it was very straight. It was a little bit wavy, but it was pretty straight. Yeah. And so it's super curly now. I never had super curly hair before. My daughter had to teach me how to take care of it. People are really cute. Now, when they see me and my daughter, they say, oh, you got your curly hair from your mom. She's like, no, I got my curly hair from my dad. My mom got her curly hair from COVID. Right? Yeah. So anyways, I don't want to do a whole lot till I get my new headshots, which I have planned to take in September. However, and whenever you go and you look at my pictures, you'll see that it doesn't quite look like me, and that really bothers me. However, I wanted my hair to grow back before I started taking these pictures, something that would look at me. You want to also use current pictures. Visibility is not having a picture of this rock. Be more awesome, right? We've all seen those. Be more awesome, or pictures of your grandkids or your kids, or a picture of your mother because you love it, or a picture of you 20 years ago. That it's very inconsistent, and people right away is like, what's she hiding? There's this subconscious psychological stuff going on. Okay, so consistency is also the colors, and it's being consistent on every platform. It helps people trust you whenever you're consistent everywhere. When your messaging is consistent, your colors are consistent, then they start trusting you. The next thing about visibility is location. So whenever you think location, it's not so much where you're at. I say that all of the social media platforms, all of the strategies, they're tools, they're billboards. And you want these billboards to direct them to you. But what do 99% of the coaches ask constantly? If I had a nickel for every time I've heard, how do I find clients?
Oh, yeah.
I would be a billionaire.
That is the question.
But that's the wrong question.
Okay.
That's
what the right one is.
Okay. Because whenever you're going out there going, how do I find clients? How do I find clients? I always get this picture in my head. Like you're walking down Main Street and a shop owner comes running out on the street and they pull you in and they're like, buy something, look at all this good stuff I have. And you're like, what the heck? Right?
Yeah.
And that's, you're desperate. It shouts desperate. How do I find clients? How do
Yeah. It does sound desperate.
Shop owner. So that's the wrong question. So please stop asking yourself,
Yes,
how do I
ma'am.
find clients? Stop asking other people, how do I find clients? So what is the right question? Just as Dumont asked a minute ago. What is my clear, concise message that will attract my ideal clients to me?
Yeah.
Okay. What is my message that is going to attract my ideal clients to me? My message, what I always say is step into who you are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits.
Wow, that's great, Cindy.
That is part of my message. Now, there's other visibility coaches out there, and there's people out there that wouldn't be attracted to that. They might think they're already confident enough. But I find most people, when you talk about visibility, they play a hide and seek game. They're like, yes, see me?
Oh, yeah.
Part of me, because I can't let you see all of me because that would just be horrible. Right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to play hide and seek. You want to have your clear message that's going to attract your ideal clients. So the key to be visibility is to be where your ideal clients are. Now, I can tell you from all of my research and from all of the stats, your ideal clients are everywhere. There's very few people who I would say that there's not a social media platform that you can't find clients. LinkedIn. You find a lot of clients on LinkedIn. But if your target market is senior citizens, you're probably not going to find them on LinkedIn. Right. If your target market is single stay-at-home moms, they're probably not going to be on LinkedIn. Right? But almost every single niche you can find anywhere. Mm-hmm. When I was a divorce coach, I did not utilize LinkedIn to find clients. I utilized LinkedIn to find divorce attorneys.
Oh, yeah.
Where were my clients? My clients were at divorce attorneys' offices.
That's right. Yeah. That's good thinking.
What I did was I created, because attorneys are busy people, and I didn't want to have physical interviews with them because they're busy people. So I went into all the Facebook groups, all the LinkedIn groups where divorce attorneys hung out. And I said, hey, I'm looking for attorneys that would do a simple 10-question written interview for me. And I will place it on my website along with your contact information. So once they did that, I sent them a little postcard with a visibility tip on it.
Very cool.
And even though I was a divorce coach, it was a visibility tip that I would send to them. And also I sent to them a little brochure that I made that said how to create your perfect divorce team. This is what an attorney can do. This is what the financial person can do. This is a real estate can do. This is what a divorce coach can do. And naturally, it had contact information. Mm-hmm. I actually had divorce attorney offices call me, and I would send them 100 of these brochures with this with this tip, and thank you for doing the interview. And they would call me up and go, hey, we're out of brochures. Will you send us more?
That's great. Oh, my gosh.
So you can always ask yourself, where are people that can help me? Not just where are my clients.
Yeah.
Divorce attorneys are not allowed to take affiliate commissions. They're not allowed to take anything. However, their information stayed on my website until I closed it down in 2017.
Yeah.
And they got clients from my website because I was getting a lot of visitors to my website, or they would in different questions, and my website would pop up based on the questions I asked the divorce attorneys. So therefore, it's, the key to visibility, again, is being where your ideal clients are, and they are everywhere. But it's get creative and have a consistent message so you're in front of them. Stop asking where they are, because they are everywhere. And that's not the problem. The problem is you're not showing up in a way that they're like, hey, I need that person. So what's preventing you from being fully visible? And I'd love all of you to write down 2 things that are preventing you from being visible. Again, because you put on this mask. And so it all boils down to fear. This is what people tell me all the time. They're afraid of being visible.
Mm-hmm.
They're afraid of being found a fraud. Oh my gosh, I'm a fraud. Who am I to be a divorce coach? Who am I to be the visibility whiz? Who am I to be the LinkedIn lady? They're afraid that family, friends, and coworkers are going to call them out and say, who are you to be teaching this? I have a friend. She has a master's, maybe even a PhD. I don't think it's a PhD, just a master's. She has a master's in physiology. And so she teaches, her coaching business is about nutrition and physiology. And her stepmother always tells her, you're not smart enough to be doing that. Who do you think you are to do that?
Wow.
It's like she has a degree in it. And she still has somebody asking her that. So sometimes we're afraid of that. And we have to realize that people are coming from their own fears and their own insecurities. It has nothing to do with you. And then a big, big, big fear is being rejected.
Yes.
And also it's, I don't know enough. I need to take another course. I need to be certified in this and that and this and that before I will know enough. And other ones go, I don't know where to start, and I don't want to waste any time on the wrong platform or strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You're never wasting time. You're learning always. You know, if Thomas Edison would have stopped after his first attempt at creating a light bulb, we would all still be in the dark.
Some of us still are.
Okay. So again, it's all of these fears. And whenever I really keep digging deeper, speaking to people one-on-one, it's a fear of making a mistake. It's that fear of making a fatal mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first time I'd written an article, I was a divorce coach. I wrote an article about divorcees having friends with benefits. Huffington Post found this article and they invited me to an expert panel on Huffington Post Live. So I'm super excited, right? This was my first live appearance. I'm super excited, but I was super, super, super nervous. The camera used to terrify me. Like I was so terrified of the camera. But having other people there made me a little bit more comfortable, but I still felt like a fish out of water. And however I was trying to say what I was trying to say, either Huffington Post totally misunderstood me or just decided to misquote me. When they were advertising this episode, all over the internet is, certified divorce coach Cindy Holbrook tells all of her clients to find a friend with benefits.
Oh, no.
I was mortified. I literally went to bed under the covers and cried for 3 days. I did not want to open my computer up. Like literally, I didn't want to open it up. And I'm thinking, business is over. Nobody's never going to trust me. Nobody's never going to hire me. I might as well go back to social services. So
you were probably beating a path to your door.
And so whenever I finally got out of bed and wiped up my tears and decided to take a shower and get dressed and go walk that long distance from my bedroom to my office, right? Yeah. And I opened up my computer. I had tons and tons of hate mail.
Oh.
But I also had tons and tons of love mail.
Wow.
So it did not kill my business. It really helped my business. And I got a lot of clients from that episode. But just so you know, that is not what I was attempting to say. What I told my clients was, I believe It is better to have a friend with benefits than to have multiple one-night stands.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So what I was saying was completely different than the way that they advertised it. But the only fatal mistake would have been if I wouldn't have got myself out of bed and stopped crying and faced the music.
Mhm.
And it wasn't as bad as I thought. You know, I did not sit there and read all the hate mail, and I didn't stay, you know, I focused on the love mail instead of focusing on the hate mail. But people are afraid of making a fatal mistake that's going to kill their business. But there is no fatal mistake.
I was just thinking
You
that.
give up.
Yeah.
And so regardless what happens, keep on going. There is, you know, everything is a learning experience. Everything's an experience, and it's going to build your character, and it's going to help you be a better coach, a better speaker, and it's going to help you transform more lives. So before I get into the mistakes, and I know you guys are all dying to hear about the mistakes, I want to tell you too, the difference between being an expert and an authority. In today's world, we live in a world full of experts. You know, Dumont's a PhD. She's an expert. She's got her PhD. We live in this world full of experts. Mm-hmm. Anybody with a degree or a certification or a few awards or a few years of experience in a particular industry can tout themselves as an expert. Mm-hmm. And in the dinosaur ages, pre-internet, like back whenever I was tied to a phone, my dad used to tell me when I was a teenager, one day you'll be able to see the person you're talking to on the phone. I thought, you're crazy, Dad, right? Like I have a little 6-foot cord that I'm talking to the phone. Yeah. So back in the dinosaur days, it was enough to be an expert. But on the internet, it's not enough.
Yeah.
You need to be an authority. Okay. So with an authority, you're considered a thought leader, you create change, and you have clients lining up to work with you. So you want to be an authority. If you look up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, an expert is having, involving, or displaying special skill or knowledge derived from training or experience. Authority is the power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. So if you caught my tagline earlier, I help people step into who they are with outrageous confidence for more visibility, influence, and profits. Because whenever you marry visibility and influence, you will have profits.
I like that.
Thank you. So now, let's start with mistake number 1. This is costing you time, money, and energy. And it's simply SEO. Okay? Everybody thinks they have to know SEO. They have to have the algorithms. What's the algorithm so I can get the top spot? And especially like on Google. What's SEO? I have to know SEO.
Yeah.
I can tell you, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of the top, because all search engines are all social media platforms are also search engines. So remember, all social media platforms are also search engines. And they all change their algorithm constantly. If you were trying to stay number 1 on Google, say you wrote a post and it got to be on number 1 on Google. Well, whenever they change their algorithm, whenever somebody else writes another post, you might jump down to number 11. So what do? You rewrite your post trying to get back up at that 1. You're wasting your time. Constantly trying to rewrite to stay in that top spot. Or you're spending a hell of a lot of money to Google Ads to try to stay in the top spot. SEO is important. The algorithms are important to an extent, but they're not as important as a lot of people make them out to be. When you, with SEO, there are companies out there that spend tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars every month to stay top of Google, especially for key keywords. And unless you have that type of money, or you have somebody that wants a full-time job, plus, 2 people that want a full-time job to stay up with the algorithms, it's next to impossible.
Yeah.
The algorithms, in 1 year, Google changed its algorithm over 700 times.
Wow.
And in 1 year, Facebook changed its algorithm 600 and some odd times.
Wow.
So you don't know how often. I mean, this was I think it was 2018 that I got these stats from, and I'm sure that it still happens today.
Oh, I'm sure.
Constantly changing their algorithms. But what does every search engine, social media platform want? They want happy customers. So if you create content and you create engagement that makes their customers happy, you get more.